The Galactic Mediation Chamber on Neutral Station 7 was a masterpiece of diplomatic architecture. Crystal walls that shifted color to promote calm, seats that adjusted to any physiology, even air that was carefully balanced to reduce aggression in 300 different species. None of it mattered when Ambassador David Reeves put his boots on the table. The Zealothi delegation recoiled. The Vorthan prince's feathers ruffled in shock. Even the normally emotionless synthetic collective representatives flickered their optical sensors in what might have been surprise. Ambassador Reeves, Chief Mediator Solara said carefully, her tentacles writhing with disapproval. Perhaps you're unaware of protocol. Oh, I'm aware, Reeves said, leaning back in his chair. Worn military boots crossed at the ankle on the pristine negotiation table. Mud from some forgotten world flaked onto the surface that had hosted 1,000 successful peace talks. For 6 months, humanity had tried diplomacy. When the Zealothi-Vorthan alliance had claimed 3 human colonies were in disputed space, Earth had filed the proper protests. When colonists started disappearing, they'd followed channels. When the first colony was bombed, they'd called for these peace talks. And for 3 weeks, they'd watched the alliance make a mockery of the process, demanding concessions, rewriting established borders, laughing behind closed doors at humanity's insistence on negotiations. This is an insult, Prince Kexayar of Vorth screeched. Remove yourself, savage. Reeves smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. Savage? Interesting word choice. He pulled out a tablet, swiped across it casually. Let's talk about savagery. The chamber's holographic display activated without permission. A breach of protocol that should have been impossible. Images filled the air. Zealothi military forces executing human colonists. Vorthan ships bombing agricultural centers. Children's bodies in the ruins of New Harmony. Savage is thinking we'd keep talking while you slaughter our people, Reeves continued, his voice conversationally calm. Savage is assuming our diplomacy was weakness. You dare, the Zealothi admiral began. Shut up. Reeves didn't raise his voice, but something in his tone made the admiral's words die in his throat. You had your chance to talk. For 3 weeks, I've sat in this chair, following your rules, respecting your protocols while you played games. He tapped his boot against the table. More mud fell. These boots? They're from New Harmony. I was there yesterday, pulling bodies from the rubble. Figured the least I could do was bring a little of that dirt here, to this clean, sterile room where you pretend to negotiate in good faith. The mediator tried to restore order. Ambassador, please. The protocols exist for a reason. Your protocols assume good faith, Reeves interrupted. They assume civilized beings. They assume that when someone sits at this table, they actually want peace. He looked at each alliance representative. These aren't civilized beings. They're jackals who thought they found easy prey. He stood, boots hitting the floor with deliberate force. So let me explain what happens now, in terms even jackals can understand. The holographic display changed. Earth's third fleet, previously hidden in dark space, now visible and moving. Not toward the disputed colonies, toward the Zealothi homeworld. The 5th and 7th fleets, flanking Vorthan trade routes. The 9th already in position around the Alliance's main fuel depot. What is this? Prince Kexayar's screech had lost its imperious tone. This, Reeves said, is what we were doing while you thought we were begging for peace. Every diplomatic delay, every procedural motion, every time you made us wait, we were moving pieces into position. He pulled out an old mechanical watch. An anachronism that somehow made him seem more dangerous. In exactly 6 minutes, those fleets will receive their final orders. Unless, the Zealothi admiral leaned forward. You signed the original treaty, the one that recognizes our colonies, plus reparations for the dead, plus the heads of every military officer involved in the attacks. Impossible, the prince squawked. The alliance would never. 5 minutes 40 seconds, Reeves said, checking his watch. The room erupted. Threats, pleas, demands for the mediator to do something. Reeves just stood there watching the seconds tick by. 1 minute, he announced over the chaos. The Zelothy admiral grabbed a stylus. "Give me the treaty." "Admiral, you can't," the prince protested. "They positioned fleets while pretending to negotiate," the admiral said quietly. "They used our own arrogance against us. Sign it." With 30 seconds to spare, the treaty was signed. Reeves picked up the document, examined it carefully, then nodded. He touched his earpiece. "Stand down." Treaty signed. As he turned to leave, the mediator found her voice. "Ambassador." The boots on the table. "Was that really necessary?" Reeves paused at the door. "Ma'am, when someone's murdering your people, you don't waste time being polite. You make them understand that negotiations are a courtesy, not a weakness." He glanced back at the mud on the pristine table. "And sometimes, you have to put your boots on their table to remind them that you're willing to put those same boots on their throats." The door closed behind him, leaving the Alliance to contemplate how badly they'd misread humanity. Later analysis would show that human fleet movements had begun the moment their first colonist died. The peace talks hadn't been a delaying tactic. They'd been humanity's last gift of mercy. The Alliance never made that mistake again.